Hi everyone, good night. I'm Dr. Karine Zanella. I'm assistant professor at the Federal University of Latin American Integration in the Chemical Engineering School from Brazil. And today, on behalf of my co-authors, Master Adriano Paixão and Dr. Sidmara Bedin, I'm going to present to you the following work: Theory Practice Integration in Engineering Teaching, Pedagogical Experience in the Management and Treatment of Effluents Cars from Chemical Engineering Program. In today's presentation, we will see a brief introduction to didactics in higher education, the objective of these works, a few comments on water sanitation importance, water treatment plants, the wastewater treatment. I'm also going to present the technical visits I made with my students, show the water treatment plant project that the students did, some student statement, and finally the conclusion that my coworkers and I had about this work. Well, over the years, higher education has been the subject of intense debate and discussion as the traditional teaching approach, and we as professors must be attentive to teaching updates. In the current world in the matter of teaching, the crucial challenge in terms of teaching quality in engineering is based on identifying ways to encompass the social and technological changes. And for that, an excellent alternative is to increase students' contact with the practice, since the practice itself allows the execution of theoretical concepts that they have learned during classes. So, the main objective of this work is to present the importance and positivity of the pedagogical experience that occur with the theory-practice integration implemented in the Management and Treatment of Effluents class from Chemical Engineering program at the Federal University of Latin American Integration. To start, I would like to remind you of water sanitation importance. The basic sanitation is extremely important for the health and well-being of humanity. Besides, it's used as a parameter for a country to be considered as developed one. Here in Brazil, sanitation measures have shown several advances in recent decades. Even this week, the Brazilian government signed a law that by 2034, all citizens must receive treated water due to its importance. So when it comes to basic sanitation, we immediately remember the water supply and treatment of effluents. In this context, it's necessary to talk about the water treatment plant, which has as the main objective guaranteeing drinking water standards for human consumptions. Besides the objective to reduce the concentration of pollutants in the water, eliminate organic materials and pathogenic microorganisms. In the water treatment plant, there are several steps that the water must pass through to guarantee that the water that you receive at your home is treated. Let me summarize them. The first step, it's screening, where the water passes through the grating to the removal of microscopic elements, such as leaves and wood. The second one is the coagulation, where occurs the addition of coagulant to agglomerate fine particles. The next one, the third, is the flocculation. Here the agitation of the water happens to favor the union of the particles and the formation of flakes. In the fourth step, decantation, the flakes are deposited on the bottom, separating from the water. The step number 5 is the filtration, where water passes through gravel, sand, and activated charcoal filter to remove flakes. The sixth is the desinfection. In these steps occurs the addition of chlorine and fluorine to remove disease-causing microorganisms. And the last one, the distribution, is where the treated water is distributed to the population. Okay? So this is just to summarize the water treatment plant. And for your knowledge, in the project that the students did from this work, we joined steps 2, 3, and 4, and we did not have the steps number 6 and 7. Okay? Now that we are all on the same page, I would like to start by showing you where the students and I made the technical visits. We went to Cooperativa Lar, on your left, which have an effluent treatment plant, very similar to the water treatment plant. We also went to Sanepar, on your right. That's a unit of basic water sanitation in our city, Foz do Iguaçu. In these companies, we could check all the steps that I mentioned to you before. The important thing about this stage of technical visits was that the students were able to see the plant, which they had previously only seen in theory. And this step was crucial for the setting up the treatment and the water project proposed by them. Here we have some photos of the students and the water treatment plants proposed by them. Realize that each of the groups made a different project with different layouts, but all with the same objective: treat dirty water. Here are the other groups. I would like to draw your attention to the last group on your right, which applied natural aloe vera gel as a coagulant. Of this group, we even tried the treated water. The other ones used aluminum sulfate in these steps. And as it was in high concentration, we didn't taste the water from these groups. But what I would like to highlight in general is that the students studied and worked alone to assemble these layouts and were pleased to have done so. Once the project was concluded, a survey was sent to the students in order to gather opinions regarding the activities carried out. They answered the positives and negatives of the following items: project preparation stage, teamwork related to the technical visit, if was important or not, regarding the project presentation, related to the interactions with other engineering areas, regarding the pedagogical practice, and if they feel that they had or not skills development. Here are some of the statements. I call your attention to some sentence. It was the first time that students had been able to make a scale model of an engineering process. Another one. It was an alternative way of learning and working than that we are used to. Or, the project was intriguing and very enriching. Other interesting statements that I would like to show you are: it was a diverse and advantageous way to learn. When you put into practice the theoretical content seen in the classroom, it was considerably easier to understand and set what was studied. Another one. In my opinion, having a practical and didactic approach to the content is a great way to understand, remember, and optimize some characteristics of the process. The last statement that I want to share is this one. A great way to learn anything is through practicing and having a space where you can make mistakes when performing an action, which is not possible with the current educational system. Therefore, initiatives such as taking in a discipline are always welcome by the students. So I believe that all of these statements proved how important this project was for all of us, because it brought satisfaction both for students and for me as a university professor. So, from all the above, we can conclude that this sort of activity developed represents an interesting tool in the teaching-learning process, since it stimulates the development of some multidisciplinary skills besides the students' motivation in the program. Here are the references that we used to do this presentation. I would like to thank you all for the attention, and if you have any doubts, please feel free to contact me.